Hello YouTube, it's Octane Reaper, and in this video I will be talking about how Call of Duty Zombies has strayed very far from its original roots and why I think that it would be an awesome idea for us to go back to those original feeling and roots of what zombies used to be. One of my favorite things about the original zombies, and when I say original zombies I kind of mean like World at War and some of the early Black Ops 1 maps, is that things used to be pretty simple back then. You know, when you spawned in, you kind of had a simple objective of just trying to survive as long as you could. Your basic objectives were getting, like, you know, buying the doors, getting all your perks, and getting some of your guns and your Wonderweapons. Some of those guns could be stuff off the wall, or they could even be guns in the boxes. But of course, you always wanted to get Wonderweapons such as like the ray gun or the thunder gun. And after that, really your end goal was just to get as far as you could. And it was really awesome because whenever you started up zombies, really always the goal was, okay, I gotta get as high as I can. I gotta, you know, when you and your friends set up together, you'd find strategies and you would try and get as far as you could possible in a zombies game. Well, ever since they've kind of started changing it, it's not so much about doing that anymore. Sometimes you'll spawn in, you'll want to do an Easter egg, you know, or look for, like, you should just try and figure out how the map works, because nowadays the maps are so confusing. From even just like a way to open a door can be a lot different than how it used to be. Also, something else that I've kind of thought and noticed, and a lot of people don't follow the zombie storyline, and if you don't, that's completely understandable, because it's hard to follow and it is very hard to track. And how people have like been able to just decipher the zombie storyline, to me, is insane. I mean, they're not always spot on, but they're pretty close. But the old zombie storyline that like spanned from World at War to Black Ops 1 was pretty awesome. You know, it was just about the Nazis experimenting on their soldiers to try and make an undead army that could keep going, and they ended up bringing the zombies to Earth. That was pretty much the old story. And then now when you get to like Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3, it involves them hopping from universe to universe, traveling in time, dealing with aliens. It's just like all this outworldly stuff that, for me, kind of makes me lose interest in the story. And yet again, another problem with the new zombies is the maps are always far too complicated. Every time that you start up a zombies game, it feels like you're about to do an Easter egg. You have so much stuff to do. You have to build Wonderweapons, you have to, you know, deal with all the extra enemies that are running all over the place, and there are a lot of buildables, from the shields to the gadgets that you can use, like the Maxis drone or the Ragnarok DG4. And when I say like different enemies, I mean like the Panzer Soldat that we saw up here in Origins and Denizens. Brutus, which was in Mob of the Dead. Now, Brutus wasn't too much of a problem. You could kill him pretty easily, but he can get pretty annoying at times. I mean, locking the perks off and stuff, or doors where you had to pay an extra fee just to open that door or buy that perk. The Denizens on transit were horribly annoying. I don't understand why they were put in the game. I understand it was just probably just to tie into the story, but pretty damn irritating. Made transit really a map that I didn't want to play. And also the Thrashers, or the swamp monsters that you see in Zetsubo Noshima, they're a little bit ridiculous because there's like almost no way to counter them. It seems like the spores, even if you shoot them, they'll just respawn right away, or I'll find a Thrasher that just comes out of nowhere. The Thrashers are incredibly strong, they take forever to kill, and the Thrashers also have like an infinite supply of spores in the zombies, so they're pretty much just always there. There's no, like, you can't predict when a Thrasher is going to come down. And I do understand that like building the Wonderweapon is kind of cool because it guarantees you a chance of getting it. I mean, once you can learn the locations of all the parts are at, that's cool. But it also takes away from what a Wonderweapon is. The Wonderweapon isn't anything guaranteed. It's something you have to get lucky for, and if you get lucky, you have a badass weapon. That's what the Wonderweapon always was. And another thing that they've done to make these newer maps complicated, and this has like been ever since Black Ops 2, turning on the power has become like a 10-step process. I remember back on some of the old Black Ops 2 maps, you had to build the power switch just to turn the power switch on. Some of them, on maps like Origins, you have to activate 6 generators just to have the technical whole map powered up. And then you have the zombies going back and turning off the generators afterwards, and if they turn it off, your perks turned off. It's like, when I play zombies, I don't want to worry about keeping the power switch turned on. And also, some other things that they did. This was like on Moon, you have to teleport to No Man's Land just to get your perks, which is kind of ridiculous. I don't want to have to teleport to get my perk, and not only that, you have to go with all your friends or the people in your game to get the perk, and then when you go the first time on one round, it'll be Juggernog, and if you were to leave and like need to get speed bullet, you'd have to leave and go back the next time. And another annoyance that came of course with transit was having to ride around on a bus to get around the map. Like, you have to use a bus to get around the map. You don't technically have to, but if you really wanted to avoid the denizens, you'd have to ride the bus. Does anyone remember when zombies used to be a scary thing? And, you know, I remember zombies used to be pretty terrifying. Like, the first couple times that I played Keynote or Toten and some of the World at War maps, I was genuinely terrified. The first time I saw a Hellhound, I was scared shitless and I did not know what to do. I just ran around trying to avoid the dog. And my friends actually agreed with me that it was a lot scarier like the first couple times we were playing it. And I'm wondering if maybe it was just because like it was the first time that we were playing it rather than the fact that the zombies used to be scarier back then. But if you actually go back and look at the maps and look at the zombies and the gore and everything, it used to be a lot more dark and sinister. You used to see blood all over the walls and weird writings and engravings and Easter eggs that would be so hard to find, but they would always be creepy or awesome Easter eggs that were in the zombie story. And now, like, when I think of Black Ops 2, it was so like odd and wacky of a story. The characters weren't like funny, but they were trying so hard to be funny. And like, think of the town Buried. I mean, zombies really in a western town with a giant walking around. And I understand that all ties into the story somehow, but it's just weird and it doesn't exactly line up. When I think of Call of Duty Zombies, I don't think of being in a western town underneath a mining facility in Angola as scary. Another reason why I'm not even mentioning Infinite Warfare Zombies is because that's literally a joke. The maps aren't meant to be serious on those games, and I don't plan on reviewing any content for Infinite Warfare because the zombies is that much of a joke. You got 90s high school parties set in a cabin in the woods, or zombies in Spaceland, and it's just like comical. And when I play zombies, I don't want to laugh. I mean, yeah, I like to have like funny dialogue from the characters, but I don't want to be laughing at the setting of the map, and that's what zombies nowadays kind of does to me. I mean, Black Ops 3 wasn't too bad with it, but the concepts of it are still just odd. Like, I don't need to be in space to be scared of zombies. You can put me in an old asylum like you are in Verrückt, which is a lot more terrifying to me than, for instance, Revelations. Back then, on the original maps, if you got to high round, it was a pretty big deal, because getting to high rounds on the older maps was actually kind of a difficult thing to do. If you made it to round 30, you'd probably get congratulated for doing that on almost any map back then. But now, when you look at the new maps, it's not very surprising to hear people getting, you know, round 50 and plus on really any of the newer maps. While it is extremely hard to get your setup going in the new Black Ops maps and the new zombie storyline maps, it's extremely easy to like get to high rounds on there. The hard part is actually getting set up in the beginning. Like I said, you have to do so many things with the power switches, getting the perks turned on, and all of the weird different things you have to do just to get a wonder weapon. That's what makes it hard. But once you get that setup going, it's actually almost probably too easy, for me at least. Now, I do have to admit that with the newer editions of like Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3, that there have been some awesome things that Treyarch has done to make zombies a more solid experience all around. In Black Ops 2, they implemented that rank up system. It was a very horrible and flawed rank up system, but it did give you something at least to know you're playing for. You know, you're at least playing for something, because we did not have those type of ranking systems in Black Ops or the World at War Zombies experience either. So I was really happy to see that they had a prestige system and like a leveling system for Black Ops 3, which actually had unlocks and gave you incentive to play and something to do while you were playing. So I can admit that the leveling system is awesome, and I do hope to see it return, but I just would like to see Call of Duty Zombies return to what it used to be. And another awesome feature that they have added in, and this was the Black Ops 3, is the Gobble Gum. It's probably one of the best features of Black Ops 3, but it does have some issues. It can be a very pay-to-win system with some of the Gobble Gums like being extremely powerful, like Perkaholic, where it gives you all of the perks in the game just by eating a piece of gum, and it's extremely rare. And it can be pay to win because you can purchase liquid divinium, and that is what is used to earn the gobblegum. And there's also some other ones like unquenchable or shopping spree. It's just, it can be definitely a pay to win system, but the gobblegum also can be an awesome system, which helps you expand upon your gameplay and kind of gives you something different to do with zombies other than just shooting and pack-a-punching and buying perks. And that's pretty much going to conclude all the points that I have as for why I think Call of Duty was better back then, and why I kind of think that we need to go back to zombies' original roots. I'm always open for new ideas, and I do appreciate Treyarch trying to innovate and expand upon what zombies is. I just think that back around Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2, they kind of picked the wrong execution, and they just kept building upon that, because now we have this awkward system revolving around building stuff and doing Easter eggs all game long. So I'm always open for like new weapons, like different types of Wonderweapons, or just, you know, new weapons in the box in general, or new perks, or different types of traps, or even different types of bosses. But I don't want the bosses running around with the zombies on the same round like the Panzer Soldat does. That's just me. But let me know what you guys think in the comments section. I'd be really glad to hear. I would love to discuss what you guys think. If there's anything that you thought I might be a little bit wrong on or something like that, I'd be very happy to discuss in the comments section. Let me know if you agree with me also, and if you do miss the way that zombies used to be. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, and stay subscribed if you want to see more content.